Book of Heaven, Volume 20, January 1st, 1927. The will of the soul as present for baby Jesus. How his whole life was the symbol and the calling of the divine will. How the knowledges are the means in order to hasten the coming of the kingdom of his will. I was meditating on the old year which was setting and the new one which was rising. My state continues in the flight of the light of the divine will. And I was praying the pretty little baby that, just as the old year was dying never to be born again, so he would make my will die and live no more. And as present for the new year, he would give me his will, just as I gave him the gift of mine, so as to place it as footstool at his tender little feet, that it might have no other life but his will alone. Now, while I was saying this and other things, my sweet Jesus came out from within my interior and told me,
"Daughter of my will, how I love, want, yearn that your will may end in you. Oh, how I accept your present. How pleasing it will be for me to keep it as soft footstool at my feet. In fact, as long as it remains in the creature, outside of its center, which is God, the human will is hard. But when it enters again into the center from which it came, serving as footstool at the feet of your little baby Jesus, it becomes soft, and I use it to amuse myself. Is it not right that, little as I am, I have an amusement, and that in the midst of so many sorrows, privations, and tears, I have your will to make me smile? Now you must know that one who puts an end to her will returns into the origin from which she came, and the new life, the life of light, the perennial life of my will, begins in her. See, when I came upon earth, I wanted to give many examples and similes of how I wanted the human will to end. I wanted to be born at midnight, so as to break the night of the human will with the refulgent day of mine. And even though at midnight the night continues, it does not finish. It is yet the beginning of a new day. And my angels, to give honor to my birth and to point out to everyone the day of my will, from midnight on, gladdened the vault of the heavens with new stars and new suns, such as to turn the night into more than daylight. This was the homage that the angels gave to my little humanity, in which resided the full day of the sun of my divine will, and the calling of the creature into the full day of it. Still little, I submitted myself to the so very cruel cut of circumcision, which made me shed bitter tears for the pain, and not only me, but with me cried my mamma and dear Saint Joseph. It was the cut of the human will that I wanted to make, so that creatures might let the divine will flow within that cut, and so that a broken will might have life no more, but only mine which had run within that cut in order to begin its life again. Still little, I wanted to flee to Egypt. A tyrannical and iniquitous will wanted to kill me, symbol of the human will which wants to kill mine. And I fled in order to say to all, "Flee the human will if you do not want mine to be killed." My whole life was nothing other than the calling of the divine will into the human. In Egypt, I lived like a stranger in the midst of that people, symbol of my will, which they keep as though estranged within their midst, and symbolizing that whoever wants to live in peace and united with my will must live as though estranged from the human will. Otherwise, there will always be war between the two of them. They are two irreconcilable wills. After my exile, I returned to my fatherland, symbol of my will, which, after its long exile of centuries upon centuries, will return to its dear fatherland, into the midst of its children in order to reign. And as I went through these stages in my life, I kept forming its kingdom in me, and I called it with incessant prayers, with pains, and with tears to come to reign in the midst of creatures. I returned to my fatherland, and I lived hidden and unknown. Oh, how this symbolizes the sorrow of my will, which, while living in the midst of the peoples, lives unknown and hidden. And with my hiddenness, I impetrated that the supreme will be known, that it might receive the homage and the glory which are due to it. There was nothing I did which did not symbolize a sorrow of my will, the condition in which creatures put it, and a call I made in order to return its kingdom to it. And this is what I want your life to be: the continuous calling of the kingdom of my will into the midst of creatures.
Then, after this, I was going around through the whole creation in order to bring the heavens, the stars, the sun, the moon, the sea, in sum, everything, to the feet of little baby Jesus together with me, so as to ask him all together that the coming of this kingdom of his will upon earth might come soon. And in my desire, I was saying to him, "See, I am not the only one who is praying you, but the heavens are praying with the voices of all the stars, the sun with the voice of its light and of its heat, the sea with its murmuring. They are all praying you that your will may come to reign upon earth. How can you resist listening to so many voices that pray you? It is innocent voices, voices animated by your very will that are praying you." Now, while I was saying this, my little Jesus came out from within my interior to receive the homage of all creation and to listen to their mute language. And squeezing me to himself, he told me,
My daughter, the easiest means in order to hasten the coming of my will upon earth are the knowledges about it. The knowledges bring light and heat, and form within themselves the prime act of God, in which the creature finds the first act on which to model her own. If she does not find the first act, the creature does not have the virtue of forming the prime act. Therefore the acts, the things which are most necessary in order to form this kingdom, would be missing. See then what one additional knowledge about my will means. By carrying the prime act of God within themselves, they will bring with them a magnetic force, a powerful magnet, in order to draw creatures to repeat the prime act of God. With their light, they will bring the disillusionment of the human will. With their heat, they will soften the hardest hearts to bend before this divine act, and creatures will feel captivated to wanting to model themselves on this act. Therefore, the more knowledges I manifest about my will, the more quickly is the kingdom of the divine fiat drawn upon earth.
Thank you for being a part of our community here at Divine Will app. If you enjoy listening to Jesus' lessons on how to live in the divine will, please give this video a thumbs up. Your likes help us reach more souls yearning to live in the kingdom of the divine will. We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections, so drop a comment below. Your insights not only enrich our community, but also inspire others on their spiritual journey. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By joining us, you're helping to spread the news of the kingdom of the divine will, so that together we can bring his kingdom to reign on earth as it is in heaven. In the divine will, always.